The death of young Maurice Bickersteth sent shockwaves through the family and deeply affected his elder brother Julian, who was serving on the front line as a chaplain. Across the border in Belgium is Popperinge, a town that soldiers like Julian sought out, away from the bloodshed. Just off the main square is Talbot House, described at the time as an oasis in a world gone crazy.
The soldiers came here to forget about the war. They came here away from the fighting that was going on, so they came here for peace.
It's an incredible space. I mean, it must have been such a welcome contrast.
Absolutely. And then we know that Julian was here in August 1917.
Wow. Wow, it's fantastic.
Such a wonderful place of recuperation, this. And people like Julian must have so needed this.
Absolutely. It was a very special place. And Julian, being a frontline chaplain, would have seen the horrors of war, tending after the wounded, reading the last rites, and also on top of that, losing his brother, Maurice.
Oh, indeed, he actually, Julian puts his emotions onto paper here in one of these letters. He says, "I've seen sights and heard sounds the last few days, which will live with me to my dying day, and have filled me with an agony of sympathy for those suffering indescribable things. I've been surrounded for 3 days with nothing but blood, blood, blood. Yet rising out of this sea of misery and pain, human nature, the spirit of man has won the day." I'm amazed that Julian was able to see the good in what must have been a horrific scenario. And as the war progressed, like many people, he began to doubt the war itself. But one thing that he never lost was his faith in Christianity, which is amazing.
And this house would have strengthened the Reverend Julian Bickersteth's resolve because of what can be found in the loft.
Wow. It is stunning up here.
What is it, Jan? How did it come to be?
Well, it was actually a place of recreation for the troops, catering for body, hearts and minds, but also for the soul. And it was a way of soldiers to just realize that they were not a cog in a machine of war, but a person of flesh and blood with their own interests, their hearts, their minds, their spirits. That's what it meant to them.
And we know that Julian, your relative, did come here and attend, what, at least one service here, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So I believe in August 1917, during the Battle of Passchendaele, he came along here with a number of confirmation candidates to a service.
When you think of Julian here, a man who spent all his time really trying to minister to other people, do you sense here him finding something for himself?
It probably meant that Julian was able to keep his sanity and to continue his work in trenches.
privilege to come to Belgium and France and to get to know just a little these young men from another time who gave so much. Of course, that war wasn't the war to end all wars, far from it. Next week, it's Battle of Britain Memorial Day, and Pam remembers the dark days of World War II and the Spitfire pilot who was just 18 years old when he saw action for the first time. But until then, our closing hymn today is one often sung at remembrance services, and it seems fitting to sing it now. Goodbye.
Songs of Praise returns next Sunday at 4:40. But next, in a business edition, stars from The Apprentice and a former dragon are today's Pointless Celebrities.